So moving on to our final session, which is story from philanthropists. Building on the principles of corporate social responsibility, this session will bring forward real stories of individuals who have gone beyond structure frameworks to create lasting impact. While CSR often represents an organizational commitment, philanthropy reflects personal vision, values, and the drive to solve social challenges directly. These stories highlight how individual efforts can complement corporate initiatives, showing that meaningful change is possible through both institutional and personal action. They offer insights into compassion led in leadership, grassroots impact, and how values can translate into sustained community upliftment. So, now I would like to welcome Mr. Ankit Machhar. Round of applause, please. Before starting the session, I would like to introduce Mr. Ankit Machhar. He is the director of ecosystem at Wadhwani Foundation, where he spearheads India's largest startup support program, Liftoff. With over 15 years of experience as an entrepreneur, mentor, investor, and ecosystem builder, Ankit has collaborated with 150 plus incubators and startup stakeholders across India, especially focusing on Tier 2 and 3 regions. His expertise lies in startup acceleration, ecosystem development, strategic partnerships, and capacity building initiatives. He holds a gold medal in MBA in Family Business and Entrepreneurship from Institute of Management, Nirma University, and BE in Electronics and Telecommunication from Vishwakarma Institute of Information Technology, Pune University. So, welcome, sir. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Unmesh Bhai. Thank you, Parth. Thank you, AMA team, for having me here to the CSR Conference 2025. When this email came in and we were thinking how do we participate and what role could we play, I think one of the areas where we as a foundation could bring in was how a philanthropist, our founder, has set up this entire process of supporting and creating large-scale jobs. And that's where we thought this could be a good, interesting 10, 15, 20 minutes of conversation with all of you, sharing on our approach, our journey as an organization, what we are trying to do. I'll take one as a case study as well in terms of how big is the problem that we are trying to solve, and then what are our challenges, what are our learnings, what are our impact as of today. So with that, I'll quickly take, so the overall next 20-25 minutes, first 15 minutes, I'm run through a couple of slides, and then I want to kind of open up for question answers if there is anything where we can share what we've been doing at the foundation. So quick, I think my name is Ankit Machhar, and I'm Director Ecosystem at Wadhwani Foundation. Overall 15 years of experience in the startup entrepreneurship ecosystem, comes from family business background. We are into food grains, cattle feed, trading, processing, and at the foundation I lead the startup initiative at the national level. Overall about the foundation, we are a not-for-profit philanthropic initiative with very focused mission of creating jobs, and not just jobs, but large-scale family-sustaining jobs. Started by Padma Shri Dr. Ramesh Wadhwani. Ramesh is an IIT Bombay graduate, moved to Silicon Valley, started multiple ventures. Third venture that he built took an exit for more than $9 billion way back in 1999. 2001 and 2002 is where the foundation was set up. We started with our first initiative, National Entrepreneurship Network in India. The trust was set up in India. And we started with our first initiative is how do we evangelize entrepreneurship in India, which will eventually lead to job creation. So more entrepreneurs, and then eventually the jobs could be created. So that's how the initiative started, and then there are several other verticals that we started and expanded. I'll talk more about that. But Ramesh is today at $3.5 billion. It's net worth, committed 80% of his wealth. So far, $1 billion have been already committed to the foundation, and he's part of that Warren Buffett philanthropy Gates Buffett pledging as well. So the entire foundation that we have, all the operations are run by Ramesh. There is no external funding that we take. So it's completely a philanthropy that's kind of driving this. Our mission is very, very clear. We want to create additional jobs in the economies that we are working. Creating jobs, changing lives is the mission of the foundation. And we want to accelerate the economic development in the countries that we are working through family sustaining jobs, not just job, a family sustaining job. And how do we define a family sustaining job? A job that can support a family of 4. So that's the kind of definition that we've created internally as a North Star for ourselves. And we are trying to put together all our initiative to bring that entirely. Quickly, why I'm sharing this, because as an organizational journey, you will see what has been the approach, how are we doing working with different stakeholders at different places, and then I'll quickly talk about various challenges, the lessons that we learned while on the go, and then what are we doing and what is the major problem that we are trying to solve through a case study on the entrepreneurship side, because that's the vertical that I come from. But today we have 4 major verticals. Entrepreneurship is one, which is in the center, which is primarily the driving for job creation. Then we have on the right side of mine, there's something called innovation. So we are setting up an innovation network across India and other countries. This is primarily to create new emerging sectors for development. So that's driving through innovation. And on the left side is skilling. Now you have to get the existing workforce skilled towards those emerging jobs that will come in the emerging sectors. So that's how the entire engine is. And then on the horizontal side, we are working with the government in India, with central government, state governments, on leveraging emerging technologies and drive policy formulation, implementation, and measuring the outcome towards job creation using technologies like artificial intelligence and others. So that's primarily our 4 efforts in India. This is a little deeper on what of these initiatives are. Innovation is primarily bringing the academic research that is happening in academic institutions across India to commercialization, because there's a lot of emerging research, cutting edge research that is happening but not hitting to the market. There's no new sectors that are getting developed. So that is one area that foundation is working on. We've recently started this initiative called Wadhwani Innovation Network. We're committed 1,400 crore. Ramesh has committed 1,400 crore. Prime Minister Modi inaugurated two months back. And we are going to set up, there are 2 super hubs, one at IIT Bombay and one at IIT Kanpur, which will work on 2 sectors, biomedical and AI intelligence systems. And then we have hubs in different IITs and other institutions across India, and then there will be 100 plus innovation ideation centers across India all across geography to kind of map the entire innovation network. So that's Wadhwani Innovation Network. Entrepreneurship is where we're working with students, startups, and SMEs to drive job creation, students to make them aware, get them started, so that they can eventually take up entrepreneurship as a career option, start something. Existing startups, help them scale, reduce the failure rate. Currently it's 90%, how do we bring it to 85% and then eventually 80%, so that more and more startups continue on the journey and eventually create jobs. SMEs, which is a major bulk, and I will take that as an example in my in the case study, is a major job creator engine. How do we support them to grow, let's say, a 30 crore company to a 100 crore company, so that there's a massive job creation that can happen. So that's what is happening under entrepreneurship. Skilling is where we bring, how do we work with the existing workforce, bring them with the new age technologies, new age job skills, and get them also placed in the jobs that will be created or are available in the market currently. So that's skilling. And then, as I said, we are working with the government or government digital transformation. Two areas: government needs to understand, adapt technology. So that's what is happening. We are doing a lot of training programs for the policymakers, officials, and then also we are setting up chief AI development officers in key ministries so that they can leverage AI and other emerging technologies to drive policy formulation. So that's under Wadhwani Center for Government Digital Transformation. This is the impact last year that we've worked on. So under innovation, we've under one center that we were running so far, we had 100 projects that we funded, all in the emerging biotechnology, biomedical areas, and 20,000 beneficiaries were taken through the entire emerging technology program. Under entrepreneurship, 150,000 students were taken through the entrepreneurship program across the geographies, 5,000 startups, 250 stakeholders that we worked across India. Skilling, again, 5 million job seekers were skilled. And then on the government digital transformation, 200,000 government officials were trained on emerging technologies. This is our North Star for the next couple of years, what we're looking at. Under the job creation, our effort is, through our intervention, we create additional 1 million jobs through the new ventures that will come through our program. So that's our mission under entrepreneurship, and similarly, other verticals have different mission. This is our presence currently. We are operating in 15 countries, all emerging economies where put together the population counts to around 51% of the world, and we want to make a dent through our initiatives in these emerging economies. Now, what is the problem that we are trying to solve? As I said, our mission is job creation, and we can't do this alone. So there are a whole lot of stakeholders that we are working together, including the universities, including the government, including the incubators, including the associations, and individual stakeholders bringing together. And what we are putting together is a national jobs platform, which is primarily where all of our initiative, as well as any organization, any stakeholders that is working in the same direction, can join and then leverage that platform to multiply the effect. So that's primarily what is the major area that we are working in India as because we understood that we can't do this alone. A lot of this, if you're looking at some of the numbers that I'll share, you'll realize if you have to bridge that number, we have realized that we can't do this alone, and that's the challenge and the learning that we had, and that's where we're bringing together all the stakeholders, including the government, to be part of this entire mission. And then this is a quick case study on the entrepreneurship side. I will take few slides and take you through the numbers that we're putting together and trying to understand how big is this problem. Now, there's a lot of talk going on becoming a $10 trillion economy by 2035, and then, of course, developed country by 2045 and what all. But if you look at the current numbers, in terms of average household income in India, we are at the lowest. And if you look at our peers as well, we are at the lowest, $1,800, compared to US, which is $60K. And if you look at the distribution in terms of the number of jobs that would be needed by 2030, there are 145 million jobs that would be required between 2020 and 2030. And these are the different workforce that are entering into the entire market. So women entering the workforce, farmers shifting to non-farming, and then there are new entrants that are coming in. So that's the massive problem that we have. And the next slide is slightly alarming. If you look at the overall population, half of the population is out of workforce. And they are going to enter into the workforce, or they don't have jobs available to them, while only 493 million people are in the workforce. And that red part is the major alarming situation that we are trying to tackle. And if you look at on the workforce side that we have, out of which 200 million is under agriculture, while only 300 million are under non-agri. And out of that non-agri, there is 170 million which is self-employed or casual. Only a small portion is at a very regular wage, which is monthly earning between 19K thousand. So that's one of the studies that we're trying to put together. The essence here is what I'm trying to say is, one, the existing regular wage that the workforce that currently has is very, very less. So we want to increase that number, which is increasing the average household income. And second, very important, the one that is out of workforce. And if you look at that as a alarming situation, couple of years down the line, I'm looking at a situation like Bangladesh or others, where people hitting the streets, and we, the ones that have something, logged into our houses. And that is an alarming situation that we're looking at. Forget everything else in terms of job creation and everything, but that's an alarming situation that is coming up 6 months down the line, a year down the line, 2 years down the line, I don't know when, but that's something that is a very, very alarming situation. So that's where we are trying to kind of put together our efforts. And then we believe that startups, because I come from the entrepreneurship vertical, startups and more importantly MSMEs can do a lot of impact here. Of course, they have to grow, and then only they can create more jobs, and that is where we're kind of putting together the program. If you look at India in terms of current MSMEs that we have, large firms, which is more than $500 million, is like, compared to our peers, there's very less. And peers, when I'm talking about, it's China, Malaysia, Thailand, South Korea, Vietnam kind of thing. I'm not even talking about Europe or US. If you look at, they are 1.6x in terms of large firms. Mid-sized firms, again, we are very small in terms of overall numbers if you look at. And then there are these lot of small firms in India. So how do we move these in terms of the massive problem that we have to talk? What we need is 1 lakh MSME micro firms, 10,000 small firms, and 1,000 mid-sized firms to put together or meet at least the existing workforce that we have. And that's where we are trying to put together a massive problem to solve, which is not just job creation, but how do we bring the existing workforce and the emerging workforce, skill them to the upcoming requirements that will come, and then eventually and work with the existing MSMEs and the self-employed entrepreneurs that are there to kind of be ready to create those jobs and take those job seekers into their companies. So that's the overall problem that we're trying to do. What we see and what the challenges, and I was asked like what are various challenges that we face while doing this. So we have figured out that these are the 3 things that are required for an MSME to scale. For a small firm to become mid-size, or a mid-size to become a large size, either you need more revenues, you need profits, you need a lot of investment to come to you, right? And more or less, this is what your pure MBA says. What we are starting to see is there is an intent. We are starting to see there is an ambition with the entrepreneurs today to do something big, but not very fast that we're looking, or the need that is there in the country today. So while there is an intent, I think what is required is, and this could be a compelling reason, because our survival in the next couple of years may be at a point where we may look ourselves from our own survival instinct. That is the thought process I think that is required to look at 5 years down the line. If that workforce, which is not in the mainstream, gets out, what would happen? And would we be still sitting here and having a comfortable AC and look at all these conversations? And that is the bigger problem that all of us come together need to solve. So a lot of challenges that we have identified at the MSME level is, of course, all of this. And more importantly, even if there is an intent with the MSME or an entrepreneur, there is not enough right set of advisory or mentoring or the network available for them to grow and scale. And that is where we've kind of put together different programs. Lot of lessons that we've learned on the go. We meet a lot of people who are doing a lot of work as a not-for-profit in CSR, a lot of private companies bringing CSRs into the ecosystem at different points. Skilling is one of the areas that we keep seeing a lot of people doing a lot of work, but it's also now beyond CSR. I think the call has to be taken. It's not just giving away money, but it has to be co-created. Everyone has to play. All of us equally have to play that role in order to bridge that large out of the workforce population that is going to come into the workforce and the survival that we may have to hit upon. And we are also looking at is providing technology support to the rural entrepreneurs as well, because that's one of the areas where digital transformation can happen. And if they are enabled, I think the rest of the value chain will get enabled automatically on the technology side. So those are the two areas where we are thinking. We had challenges. We've been working out on the ground and feel that this is lacking, and this is where we are kind of moving through our initiatives. But then there are other areas that we've identified. And more importantly, we are working on providing mentorship and capacity building. That's what we've identified as our core to support some of these areas, and also build a technology stack that can be leveraged by a lot of stakeholders across who have the similar missions to kind of join hands and take this forward and solve this overall out of the workforce problem for India. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much, and open to any questions or anything that you may have.